I think it goes without saying that you should never do this at home. Don't try it. This is a bad idea. I'm gonna do it, but you shouldn't. I'm building a remote control chainsaw because I think it's gonna help me cut some branches that are a little out of reach. The goal is to pull this up a tree using a rope and to remotely control the saw to cut a limb, preferably a tree limb and not my limb. I'm using an RC controller, a 12-volt linear actuator, and a servo for this project, wired through an Arduino and a motor controller. I'm going to spare you the boring bits about like wiring this up and what was involved with that, but I do want to say that the code for this was actually written using ChatGPT. It's my first time ever trying that. My friend Ben Healy told me to try that, and it first try gave me usable code. It's nice to know a little bit on how to read the different variables are and stuff, because I was able to ask it to make some changes, and basically I wanted the input not to really activate until I moved this stick. I just asked it to do that and added that to the code, wrote it to the Arduino, and the rest was just simple wiring. Shout out GPT, shout out my friend Ben Healy. Now I've just got to make this thing operate the trigger, and then this thing move the saw. This project is very dangerous for many reasons, and safety measures had to be ignored or bypassed, so I implore you not to try this. Just let this guy on the internet be a dummy, okay? All right, I want to go over what's going on here. I've got this linear actuator to control the up and down, and then a servo on the trigger. And then there's like a little safety thumb switch here, so I just like shoved something in there and taped it. Basically, my safety is plugging the battery in. Once I plug the battery in, the thing is ready to go, and I need to keep that controller away from prying hands. This is being powered off of an 18-volt battery with a 12-volt voltage regulator, as well as a 6-volt voltage regulator, powering this motor driver, and an Arduino with an RC receiver. The Arduino is to control the linear actuator, and then the servo is just driven off of the RC controller with power from the 6 volts. I also should have totally put this in a project box or something, but I just hot glued some stuff here and screwed some of the other stuff here. It'll get filthy, but I really wanted to get this done, and done is better than perfect. This is just a test board. You can come with me, actually. Yeah, that's good. Okay, now back up this way. Okay, you hold it. I wasn't really expecting it to move in the way it did, with like the other board kind of moving at the same time as the saw board. Maybe it's just the way I have the ropes set up. I could probably mess around with that a bit more. It's possible that if I stake it somewhere else, I can kind of keep the board from doing that. But the real reason I'm doing this is because we've got some dead branches above our glamping tent, and that it just kind of makes me a little bit nervous sleeping there with knowing that there's kind of like a liability tree up there. And so yeah, we're gonna try to, throw a rope up there and take this down. If I were to do this again, I would definitely use this chainsaw that's 18 volts instead of 40, just the batteries are so heavy. I'm eager to get this going, so let's try it. So there's this tree way up there. It's kind of hard to see, but there's a dead branch right there. Super high up above our deck here, but it's definitely a liability and we got to get it down somehow. All right, so my goal is to throw this up over the branch, just pitch it, and then this will unravel and hopefully it works. Not even close. How do you time this? You're right, you have to be like a lassoist or something. If that even is a thing. I hate this tree. So the problem I'm having isn't really with the saw, it's with throwing this little lead line up there. Now, there are way better options than using a socket and a piece of string. I think like arborists use this little sandbag. Maybe that's the problem, maybe it's just lack of skill. But I wasn't able to do the really tall branch. I just wasn't able to get it up there. So I'm gonna try like a little bit more of an attainable branch, and concept's the same, so we'll see if it works. And sometimes people camp right here, so they for sure have to go. I'm just gonna throw this one. Nope. Nope, 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 nope. Oh, come on. This is worse than last time. That's better. So I keep getting these stuck in trees. It's very frustrating. Yeah, no, sorry, I can't come right now. I'm chainsawing. Can you hear that? Yeah, I'm chainsawing right now. Goodbye, tree. Oh, so close. I'm gonna get it this time, watch this. I just needed you there.
And no tree?
And no tree. I gotta show you something, I fell. Now I'm gonna pull this line over and string it up. The nice thing about pulling it up with a rope is that it can be staked down far away from the tree limb, so you can operate the saw from a safe distance. So this made a pretty big dent in the ground. That's kind of what we're trying to protect ourselves from, I guess. So if you're contemplating doing this, maybe don't and just hire a professional to climb the trees and cut it down. You can also get manual chainsaws. So you basically throw a rope over and it's just like a two-sided chain from a, kind of like a chainsaw chain, but it's two-sided so it cuts both ways. Then you pull each side with a rope. You still have the problem of getting a rope over the tree, which I found to be the hardest part, but this is a fun project. Definitely would not recommend though. In the next video, we'll be taking care of this branch for real and setting up our glamping tent for the season. If that sort of thing interests you, check out this video.